And in case I didn't say it in the previous video, we will be doing the NXT Roadblock preview on March the 7th, ahead of NXT Roadblock. Um, so don't you worry about that, as NXT Roadblock is the final stop before the road to WrestleMania officially begins. As, well, Roadblock is the final big special event before WrestleMania weekend on April 1st and April 2nd, which at this point, WrestleMania is officially a month away, which is crazy to think about. That WrestleMania is officially a month away, and we actually don't have any announcement thus far of who's going into the Hall of Fame. I If I hear anything about Hall of Fame inductees for WWE or the Independents, which I actually think I've heard Hall of Fame inductees for the Independents already, but for this year's class in the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame, which I believe GCW is behind. But either way, let's get into the wrestling news and put aside the fact that WrestleMania is officially a month away. And we start with AEW news, as Chris Jericho has said in a recent interview with the Daily Star, for lack of a better word, he has no interest in going back to the WWE, and he is more than willing to stay with AEW for the remainder of his career. Honestly, I think it comes down to he is a top star in AEW. He is somebody that could challenge for the world title, or would challenge for the world title if need be. He is somebody in a different position in AEW than it would be in WWE, for lack of a better word. He is somebody that is in a different position in AEW than he would be in WWE. It's not to say that he would be in a bad position in WWE. It's that AEW would keep him in the position that he's in as a top star, as a brand leader, and WWE may have him in the upper mid card and not in the main event. But even if Jericho is doing a feud where he's trying to build up somebody like Ricky Starks, Chris Jericho is still considered a main eventer in AEW either way. In WWE, it wouldn't necessarily be that way, in my opinion. And we saw that in his last run, where he wasn't considered the top of the card. United States champion, his feud with Kevin Owens was a borderline afterthought. So I can understand why, after 20 years in WWE, that he would be okay with finishing his career in AEW. Now we move to somebody that may be on the shelf for a little while, and that somebody is Tay Mello, as Tay Mello revealed that she has sort of dealt with back issues over the course of the last decade or so, and her back issues flared up as a result of the street fight. I believe it's, herniated discs or bulging discs. That's what it was. Bulging discs in her back, which I for one have never had happen to me, but I can understand how painful it sounds. Or I can imagine how painful it sounds, and I for one wish nothing but the best for Tay Mello. As it was mentioned, I think a lot of people in that street fight with Willow Nightingale, Ruby Soho, and Tay Mello and Anna Jay expected Anna Jay to be the one that was shaken up, and not Tay Mello. Because Anna Jay is the one who took the powerbomb off the stage. But it just shows that you never really know what's going to happen in a street fight or a match of that ilk, as anything could happen. Anything can genuinely happen in a match of that variety. We also have Kenny Omega talking for the very first time about the brawlout from the fallout at All Out. And Kenny Omega went on record to say that basically, well, we'll get to that. Because I don't want to spread the news. I don't want to spread that news. I'll save that news. But Kenny Omega actually went on record to talk about it on the Renee Paquette podcast. We got a little bit more news to get to before we get to that. And that news is a reason why Naomi has not returned to WWE just yet. And the main reason, and this news comes down from Ariana Andrews, the former tag team partner of Naomi in the Funkadactyls. So take it as a grain of salt, because it is not in any way, shape, or form confirmed that this is the reason why Naomi is not back with the WWE. It is good news, though, because over the course of the last year, 90% of the time, the news was revolving around Sasha Banks. It was not revolving around Naomi. So hearing Naomi news should be something positive. You know, hearing news about Naomi and hearing news that she is actually coming back, because the fact of the matter is, that's the one takeaway from this. It is not, oh, Naomi may or may not be coming back to WWE, blah, 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 blah. It is that Naomi's coming back to WWE, but she has not returned yet because she has not returned yet because, so take that as what it is, that there's a reason why Naomi's not back, and that Naomi is going to return as of this news. But again, take it as a grain of salt because of who it's coming from, that Naomi had shoulder surgery. And that's the reason why she isn't back yet. I think that the other reason why Naomi's not back yet is probably because having something to do with WrestleMania, and that WWE did not have her factored into WrestleMania, because how could they genuinely have her factored into WrestleMania if they didn't know when she was coming back? Unless the company knew that she was coming back and just wasn't sure when. You know what I mean? That the company could have known that she could be coming back at this point, yada, 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 and just didn't expect her to come back, in this way. You know what I mean? So I wish nothing but the best to Naomi if she is on the show, getting back and working her way back from shoulder surgery. And I do hope that after WrestleMania, we will see Naomi return to the WWE, as there were rumors or expectations that Naomi may be one of the surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble. And the fact that she was not one of the surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble really gave people the question, or proposed the question, is Naomi actually coming back to WWE, or is she officially done with the company, and will she show up somewhere else? But again, I wish nothing but the best to Naomi and Tay Mello as they recover from their injuries. That is, again, if Naomi is actually injured, considering the fact that we got the news from Ariana Andrews and not an official news outlet. But now we move to Kenny Omega's conversation about the fallout from the brawlout at All Out, as Kenny Omega basically says that nobody from the situation has spoken about how stupid it was and how pointless it was for us to have a fight about what we fought about. And if that is the one thing I'll say about this is, based on what Kenny said during the Renee Paquette sessions, if that is his genuine feelings, then go to Tony Khan with the Bucks and tell Tony you want to have a sit down with CM Punk and work things out. And if Jericho has a problem with Punk coming back and saying, oh, he's not coming back in my AEW or my locker room, it's not your locker room, it's the VP's locker room, it's Tony Khan's locker room. And if they decide that Punk will come back, then you could be a part of the conversation too. And you could sit down and have a conversation with Punk too. And iron out your issues, and do what's best for AEW. Because Omega downplayed it. Omega was very, very, it lacked depth. And I'm sure there was a reason why it did. But in my opinion, it could, if that's the case, then why not let bygones be bygones, put the bad blood aside, and do what's best for AEW and let Punk come back and make some money. Because as the old saying goes, personal issues make money. But that's just me. I know I'm on the outside looking in. Kenny is right that this brawl out from All Out last year will be something that people talk about for months and years to come. And he just doesn't like it because he knows that it didn't have to happen. Again, based on what he said, if that's the case, then talk to Punk, talk to Tony Khan, and iron it out. Because that's what people want to see happen. They want to see Punk and FTR against the Elite for the Trios Championships at All Out in August or September, whenever it is. Imagine that. Imagine FTR and Punk against the Elite for the Trios titles at the same pay-per-view where we saw the Elite and Punk have the fallout from the Brawl Out, or fallout at the Brawl Out, or the Brawl Out at All Out. Either way, these have been my thoughts on the recent news, and this is the end of the news cycle for the day. I will see you in the next video.